Thank you.
Let me know when to stop then.
Holly, can you pick up where I interrupted you? Is that possible?
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I was really impressed and excited by the work that people were doing to change their whole curriculum and make it work on Zoom. Like, Martin was posting these amazing dance videos, and I was saying, I'm so proud of what I was able to do in drama with this little screen. We did mask work, we did puppetry. The kids made some great pecha kuchas, like stuff that I wouldn't necessarily have thought of doing in a classroom. And the kids need that opportunity to cultivate creativity. It shouldn't just be just the grim academic, hard-hitting stuff. They need light and aesthetic experience in their day as well. So
ways to express their creativity, as they navigate the experience too, right? Like, I think how do we get through it as adults, right? Like we, one of our things was doing this, right? Expressing ourselves, being creative. Like you need, you need all that stuff in these contexts even more.
Absolutely. And so do we. And we also need to have a job.
Yeah.
So I'll ask a question here. When you guys are doing all this new revamping of your teaching style, you think you're getting more chance to be creative, or is it more rigorous, like, they're still telling you to do step by step and how to evaluate? What's happening?
Well, yesterday, sorry.
I was just going to say, from my perspective, there was nothing. There was very little in terms of guidance. It was like, just do something is basically the messaging.
They're throwing that at you, just do something.
Yeah, there was nothing about evaluation. There was nothing, we were called to some meetings from the board about identifying, what was it, Norma? I don't know if you did those ones, or Callie, I think, was in one with me, where it was like identifying key competency and like, what are the essentials of learning? And nothing really came of those meetings.
No. But Sue had said at one point, Callie remember this, she says, just engage the students, do all those fun projects that maybe you didn't have time. But part of those fun projects were things we had done physically with the kids in class. We had to, like you say, rethink what we're going to do with them. But we met yesterday with our readiness committee, and that was one of the things that came up. We said, how are we going to start the year? And we talked about finding a balance, and Kurum is a really good voice to have on a committee, because we were saying we don't want to just jump into content. We want to address the experience the kids have lived through, and we want to look at skill sets, basically even like learning the technology. We can't possibly start teaching content if a kid doesn't know how to navigate through the digital world. And we said, we'll address the whole mindfulness. How do we settle them down and be there? And then Kurum brought up, he says, but we do need that balance where kids, some of them come to school to escape maybe what they were living at home. That hasn't changed. So part of that is that whole balance of finding skill sets, a comfort zone, and content was the last thing we discussed, but that's the last thing we're going to address. So.
Right.
That's the old thing, the academic is embedded in the social. And that's something that gets forgotten a lot of the time when you're looking at standards and competencies and data. That's often forgotten.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a good time to take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
How do they address the fact that some kids do not have access?
There have been like laptops made available to students.
Yeah.
But it was surprising how few families actually picked up laptops for their kids. So it's like, what does that mean then? Does that mean that they came up with their own ways of finding access, or does it mean that their kids just didn't get it at all? Who knows?
We gave out the Wi-Fi sticks for anyone who didn't have Wi-Fi access, and I used one.
That's what I was going to say. That costs money too for people who can't afford the internet.
Yeah, so they could pick up a little Wi-Fi stick. I used it and I tested it out, and yeah, it's an option. And that was made available to anybody that needed it, staff and students.
I feel like Wi-Fi should be like water. everybody should have access to quality Wi-Fi. Everybody
Yeah,
should.
well, they talk about cities being
Mhm.
completely Wi-Fi.
Yeah, like why aren't they?
Okay,
Oh,
that was good. Can I have everybody's permission to use this, not the video clip, but the dialogue from the
Yeah.
little section? Okay. I will send the draft of the article to everybody when it's done. I have to send it off on the 15th of August. And this is great because most of what I've been thinking about has been in the abstract. And so now I have some real voices and pictures.
And when is the article due, did you say?
15th of August. It's for apprendre et enseigner. It's the CPIQ journal,
Very cool.
and it's open access online. So when the article's published, Norma's written. You've written for them, I think. Norma, haven't you? Mary Eva solicits articles from whoever happens to be close to her at the time.
I have it originally.
I'm in the M's, so let's hit on Judy this year. So, Mark and I wrote a bilingual piece once, and that was really well received because it was bilingual.
Is CPIQ, Judy, the same where we went to the conference? Is it like the same organization? We went to the conference in Quebec City years ago.
Yeah, I think it was, Kristen. I think that was CPIQ.
Okay.
Our overwhelming response from our huge audience.
Yeah.
That long drive. Yeah, so CPIQ is an organization, an umbrella organization for all of the discipline associations in the province of Quebec, English and French. And Mary's on the board of ATEC, and that's how she became involved in it. And she's the English spokesperson on the board for CPIQ. So, shall we braid?
Sure.
Get back to the braid.
Would you guys like me to scribe?
That would be great, Kristen, because you're very good at it.
So would you like the recording to continue or?
No.
Okay.